Sangena mbukeli lafika elingaliyo vusa seduze nawe ke nizothamela ezinohlonze futhi ezihlabahlosile ezenzeka kuleli kanye nakwamanye amazwe omhlaba ezithinta mina nawe ezanamuhla ke nizethulela ngoAzaria wakakhoza kanti sizoba ndawonye kuze kugamanxe leli hora sizikhininda sizithamunda ngolwimi lukaMageba asingabe sananaza ke mbukeli siyaziphaka ngevokaleli libika lena iKids News. Siqale ngezithi namuhla ke umhlaba wonke jikelele ubungaza usuku lokuqhakambisa ukubaluleka kwemfundo iInternational Day of Education. Lolu suku ke mbukeli lugujwa ihlandla lehlanu kulonyaka kanti isiqubulo salo sithi invest in people, prioritize education. Injongo ke yokubungaza lolu suku mbukeli ukuthi wonke abhunge ngokuba amazinga emfundo singawakhuphula kanjani na emhlabeni wonke jikelele.
Imfundo kufuneka ibekwe phambili ukuze kukhawuleziswe inkqubela phambili kuzo zonke injongo zophuhliso luzinzileyo ngokuchasene nemeko yokudodobala koqoqosho lwehlabathi ukukhula kokungalingani kunye nengxaki yemozulu njengokuba kuqhutywa usuku lwemfundo kwihlabathi liphela kusekhona abantwana kwindawo ezahlukeneyo abasajongene nomngeni wokufunda ebunzimeni kwindawo ezahlukeneyo zeli laseMzantsi Afrika ingakumbi kwindawo ezisemaphandleni abantwana banazo nezithuthi ezibasa esikolweni oko kuphazamisana nemfundo yabo kuba bagqibela behamba imigama emide ukuya nokubuya esikolweni ngelixa abanye kunyanzeleka ukuba bahambe kwindawo ezingakhuselekanga besiya esikolweni bagqibela befika esikolweni bediniwe oko kuyaphazamisana nemfundo yabo le ngxaki ke ikwakubungele nabanye abantwana bezinye indawo kwihlabathi nalapho iUnited Nations Educational, Scientific and Cultural Organization iUNESCO ngamafutshane ijongana nosuku lwamazwe ngamazwe lalonyaka kumantombazana aseAfghanistan abangalifumaniyo ilungelo labo lokufunda ngolusuku kulindeleke kuba kujongisiswe enye yezo ngxaki eAfghanistan apho abantwana abangamantombazana behlutshwa ilungelo labo elisiseko lemfundo ukususela ekutshintsheni kwezopolitiko eKabul ngoAugust wango-2021 ukufikelela kwimfundo engaphaya kwenqanaba lokuqala kunqunyanyisiwe kuwo onke amantombazana ase-Afghanistan angaphezulu kweminyaka eli-12 ubudala abanye abantwana abangamakhwenkwe kwezinye indawo banyanzelwa ukuba basebenze besengaphantsi kweminyaka kwaye oko kuphazamisana nemfundo abantwana bavakalise zabo izimvo ngalomba.
I come from a school in rural areas, so I think we need some more labs and more resources, I'd say, because there's a huge lack of resources and infrastructure.
Into ezemfundo ezingazenza ukuthi zenze zonke izikole zibukeke ngokufana zibe nama resources alinganayo unless phela masoziba ama private schools mara izikole zasemakhaya azifani zonke uthola ukuthi esinye isikole kuleyo ndawo esinawo ama labs esinye isikole asinawo ama labs uthola esinye sinama computer labs esinye sinama computer labs so lento le restricting ngane ke kakhulu lezo zenze science ukuthi wena i-practical task uyibona kwama videos aka YouTube while abanye bona bayenza like practically ema labs asesikoleni sabo
ba increase taba ya di resources and also ba introduce online learning ko dikolong because ayisemalapa ohle akhona go provide la bana ba bone
ophuma kumalusi naye uyanaba.
The quality of our education is very high.
Uthi izinga lemfundo kweli laseMzantsi Afrika liphezulu futhi livumela abafundi ukuba bakwazi ukuyokufunda nokuba kukweliphi na ilizwe ezemfundo kweli zenza ukuba abafundi bakwazi ukuyokusebenza nokuba kuphi na kwihlabathi. Ngumboxhalabisayo ukuphazamiseka kwelungelo lokufunda kubantwana kwihlabathi liphela.
Njengoba besishilo ngaphambilini mbukeli namuhla usuku olubaluleke kakhulu kuthina singabafundi ngoba phela iInternational Day of Education. Njengamanje ke mbukeli sizothintana noJane Bowman nongumcwaningi wezemfundo sizwe kuye ukuthi ingabe imfundo ibaluleke kangakanani na. Jane, good morning and welcome to the show.
Morning, thanks for having me.
How are you doing?
I'm good, thank you. How are you?
Good. So now, before we start our conversation, I just want us to unpack this big question. How important is education in this 21st century? Because we know everything happens at a touch of a button. Everything just happens very easily these days. But how important is education?
Education is so important. For children to get an education, it gives them an opportunity to be able to reach their full potential, to have dreams and be able to get the skills they need to reach them. It isn't just about, getting a job one day and having, success in your career. Education, also the basic education system, also gives you the tools and the knowledge you need to be able to stand up for yourself, to know your rights, and also to be able to make sure that you can engage in society and be able to have the skills you need to be able to do everything you want in life. So education really is everything.
Yeah, so it is very important no matter where you're from. Now, I just want us to do a bit of comparison between us as the African continent, compared to other continents out there. We have your Asia, Europe, South America, and all other continents. Do you think that our government is doing enough to invest in our education system here in Africa?
Well, South Africa does spend a lot of money on basic education. I think education is one of the highest and one of the items that government spends the most money on. However, one of the biggest problems we have is that there is a huge amount of issues with the way that the basic education system spends the money that it does get. So we have, the National Department of Basic Education, and we have provincial education departments that are wasting money and spending it badly. And that is one of the biggest reasons that we are not seeing the outcomes that we need to see in basic education. So we don't think that government is doing enough. We think that they need to recognize that having schools that still don't have running water, having schools that still don't have proper toilets, having schools where children feel safe, and where children still feel very unsafe is not acceptable at all. And we don't feel that they recognize the crisis for what it is.
Yeah. All right. Now, a couple of years ago, we had the pandemic, it came to South Africa as well. It hit our shores. Now, there are some parents that decided to take their children out of mainstream schooling. Now we have your online schooling going on. We have homeschooling going on. Out of all these, different types of learning, which one do you think facilitates the process of learning? And which one do you think has the most advantages?
Well, I actually don't think it's so much the model of education, whether it's homeschooling, whether it's public schooling. I think that the importance must be, and Equal Education feels that the importance must be to make sure that learners are in an environment that is the most conducive to learning and that gives them the biggest chance of being able to complete their basic education. Obviously, there are differences between the different models of education, and COVID-19 showed us that no matter what the model was, you can't isolate a child and isolate learning from the rest of the system. So I think that it is really about making sure that each system of basic education in South Africa is properly monitored to make sure that children are getting the education they deserve.
Yeah. All right, now, we reside in South Africa, and we know that South Africa is a developing country, and we have a lot of social issues that are happening around us. What are some of the social issues that demotivate kids from, going to school?
Well, unfortunately, there are a lot of things that are a lot of obstacles, a lot of difficulties that are making it harder for children to get to school, to have the energy to learn, and to be able to do well in school. Firstly, we have issues that go beyond the school, such as poverty, hunger, children coming to school hungry, that is shown to decrease a child's ability to concentrate and to learn through no fault of their own. Then you have issues of access to school. Children have to walk long distances to get to school. That's a huge demotivator and in many instances is very unsafe. Then you have, unfortunately, overcrowded classrooms. It is very hard for a child to learn properly when they can't get the attention that they need from the teacher, when there is not enough textbooks for them, when they're having to share their seat with other students, when they are having to be in a cramped environment. And then, of course, safety. If you're in an unsafe environment where you don't have proper school infrastructure, it's very hard to be able to have the concentration you need to focus on your learning.
Yeah.
So there are a lot of things that we need to make sure we are doing better to make sure that children can learn better.
Yeah. So what I learned from this interview is that we have to keep our learners safe. Thank you so much, Jane, for joining us.
Thank you.
All right, thank you. Mbukeli sethemba ukuthi ufunde lukhulu namhlanje. Ake sithi qo eyitolo unganyakazi thina siyabuya.